Hello, I'm Majid Bouguera. You are listening to This Is Ibrox, the Rangers podcast.
And sit down.
Hi Martin, how you doing? Evening.
Hi, evening gents. Just want to point out to the listeners this is the second take of the intro because Martin screwed up the first one.
And we've also been joined on the pod tonight for the first time by This Is Ibrox contributor Billy McCall. Billy, how you doing, bud?
I'm good, pal. How are you?
I'm alright, apart from messing up every intro we've done this evening, I'm alright, aye.
Well.
Right lads, I thought we would start this week with some non-Rangers related news, and it's about the Bundesliga. Scott, if I can get your opinion on this first. They're looking to start their season in effectively 9 days. What's your thoughts on that? Do you think that's feasible?
I think that generally our knowledge of everything we've seen so far would suggest that Germany's dealt with this whole crisis as a country a bit better than what we've dealt with here in the United Kingdom. I think, if I've been brutally honest with you, maybe a wee bit jealous that they're going to see football very shortly. Tommy, who I'm sure you'll come to, was put into our chats today just how you almost you forget what it's like to just even sit down and watch a game, because it feels like it's been that long since we've done it. So probably a wee bit envious of them because they know that their football is just around the corner. I don't think it's anything like as close as that here in the United Kingdom. Certainly not here in Scotland, because we don't know our arse from our elbow. So it would be good to get the same bit of clarity from our government, from what the German football is certainly getting today.
I think it goes without saying, Thomas, that no matter what your thoughts are or what people's thoughts are, if this does start in 9 days, the viewing figures will be through the roof.
Yeah, I can't imagine anybody who's got any love for, I think I refer to it as soccer kick, on that WhatsApp group that you're talking about there, Scott, and he loves to see a goal net bulge. Would be desperate to watch it. I think also just within that, within the German announcement that come from Angela Merkel's office in terms of the loosening of the coronavirus pandemic steps, and so putting games back on, there was also an announcement that didn't maybe hit the headlines as much from Croatian football, from the Croatian FA, that they announced plans as well to bring football back by, I think, the 30th of this month. And so that's the 30th of May. And then Turkey was also looking or aiming for the 12th of June, with a hope of still hosting the Champions League final, which is in Istanbul in August as well. So it seems as though there's a movement across, kind of Central Europe there. If you're looking at the next ones being, what's La Liga going to do, what's the EPL going to do. So it seems as though there's pretty good news stories all around. I think, as Scott mentions there, it's what it actually looks like as well. I sense the best you can hope for is televised games as opposed to going to anything anytime soon. I think those parts of the restrictions will last for a significant while longer.
And I would ask Billy his opinion, but when you guys were both talking, he didn't seem that interested. He wasn't even paying attention.
I don't know, it's hard, right? But do you want me to really tell you what I feel?
Well, I mean,
you're jealous, right? No, but the way I look at it is, you're jealous, right? And I get it, but it's going to open up. I think they said behind closed doors, right? So they can't have large sport events to the 24th of October, it is. And with that, I mean, would you really want to watch a game behind closed doors? I mean, I don't personally, because I was interested in it. Because the crowd brings the atmosphere to the game, even when you're in the house. I don't watch much football in the house because I just love to be in the stadium and stuff. But see, watching an empty stadium and stuff, I'll lose interest. But at the same time, there's no other football on, and I suppose by this model we can then learn from the pros and the cons, what we do, what's going to work, what's not going to work. So it's good. And Germany hasn't had many deaths. I might be wrong in that, but I'm positive that's correct. So I mean, if they've not got a lot of deaths, and the other way you go. So aye, that's it.
Sorry, Martin, just a wee nuance. to that end part there, I think Germany calculates their death ratios differently from the UK. I'm sure somebody listening would have better statistics on that, but I think one of their kind of ratios and totality of mortality is slightly different from the UK. And if I've been more tongue-in-cheek, I'd say, listen, there's a lot of clubs in Scotland that play their games with no fans like it is behind closed doors anyway, according to attendances. So I think you're right. We would always rather be at a game with the fans. Obviously, you'd love to be at a packed Ibrox, but given current circumstances, I'd watch two Badgers kicking about an acorn in the back garden right now.
I know. All I was going to say was that Billy started off by saying he's not really that interested in it, and then came full circle and changed his mind. So you fit right in this pod. So,
well, I've seen how you operate. That's the thing. I'm learning for the best.
What other podcast were you on? Right, so let's move on to some really good news. And I'll come to you first, Thomas. Mike Ashley is gone.
Yes, he is, and hopefully will be forgotten as well. So putting the Mike Ashley relationship to one side and his morality and the way he approaches his businesses, and just taking a very kind of Schmittian read, very clear black and white read on this, is this guy was a leech, a parasite that was dragging the club down. So it was essentially trying to operate in an environment where you had a severe, actually use a really kind of topical analogy. The club was trying to take full breaths and fill their lungs, and Mike Ashley was the coronavirus that was stopping us from doing that. So to get over that hurdle, to be in charge of our own retail deal again and get the maximum amount of income we can from that, is a massive part of the fiscal plan and the fiscal model for the club. And so it is sensational news. I mean, the only reason I take a slight beat there, and I do believe the club when they say that we've moved on, is we've had this conversation before, and then it turned out that there was still some hooks in there. My understanding, however, is Mike Ashley was presented with the opportunity that he'd fought for in the courts, which was the infamous matching clause, and Sports Direct couldn't match it, declined, demurred to match the terms that Rangers were agreeing with somebody else. I'm sure we'll touch on that. And so therefore it does sound as though we have finally broken free of the shackles, legally, fully, finally, and never to be seen again, a Sports Direct mug being sold in the Ibrox megastore. Hooray for that.
No, and see, just on the Sports Direct mugs, what can you actually use them for? They're far too big. You know what I mean? But anyway, Billy, how much of this? In fact, I'll start by saying this is massive credit to the board, and on this pod we've spoke a lot about Dave King, but just how much of this is down to Dave King?
To be honest with you, I think you've got to probably say all it. I mean, I know the current board have come in, right? I mean, they've been in about 6 weeks, so they've kind of just got it over the line. But it was Dave King that came in and the Three Bears stood up to Mike Ashley. And listen, I think a lot of Rangers fans know own credit for it, because I've seen so many before, and they'll criticise the board. Only when it's right, I'll happily criticise them. But I think people forget where we've been, and see moving forward. I just think this is great. This is massive, but I'm a bit wary, because look at this time last year, and was it 2 years ago? Hummel, we came in and we can't really go and speak about it a lot because of the current lawsuits and stuff and court action. I'm just glad it's coming to an end, to be honest. I don't know why people would want to go and buy the Donny, whatever it's called, trainers or socks or something. I don't know. Really, I'm just glad he's a parasite. And it looks like he'll be leaving possibly from Newcastle, I believe, as well. So, it's about time we get our club back to where we are, and let's move forward.
And Scott, just how big is this for us financially? And we'll come on to talk about the retail and that in a wee minute, but just having Mike Ashley gone, how big is this for us financially?
It's huge for the club, and moving forward, it's maybe for Scottish football, it's a really big thing because it's hamstrung us for such a long time now. Make no mistake about it, the announcement of the weekend was absolutely right up there with one of our biggest days in recent times. I would suggest that it's right up there with the day that Dave King, Paul Murray and John Gilligan walked around the blue track at Ibrox to say that they'd managed to sort of wrestle control. It's that big. The fact that Ashley had drained everything he possibly could from the club was getting really, really weary. And it was at this time every season that you were thinking about it more because you're looking forward to kits coming out. How are you going to buy a kit? Can you buy a kit that there's not 1% going into his pocket? And it seems now, from everything that we know and everything that we read, that that deal and all that sort of opportunity that he's picked up in the past is absolutely gone now. So thank goodness for that.
And that we'll bring it onto the strips in that in a wee second, but just on a kind of a wider scale, Thomas, we can finally now go and use the mega store. And I've heard this said, and I've actually said it myself. I can take my way into Ibrox now, and I can go into that mega store, wherever they situate it, because we don't know if it's going to move or whatever. And I can buy cups, I can buy scarves, you can buy anything you want for your kids now.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, that's a good jumping off point and ties back to what Scott was saying there as well. I think, you know, the clarity here is exactly what fans want. All we really want, right, no matter who you are, you just want to be able to buy kit or merchandise safe in the knowledge that the majority of that money goes to the club, right? No ifs or buts. That's it. That's the clear message, right? And it can then be put into the club and infrastructure and players and all that. And it's part of that match day experience. Not, I used to love the Megastore. Used to love it way back in the day as well when the first time round when Rangers did the store on Circuit Street as well. But that maybe shows my age.
No idea what you're talking about.
I didn't think so. You've probably forgotten what it was like back then. It was just all trees when you were growing up.
Yeah.
So that's what people are looking for. But I totally agree with you. You know, especially people with wee ones. You want to take your wee one to the game. You want to soak up some of the atmosphere. You want to have the mega store there. You want to go in. You want to have a look. It allows Rangers, if that opens, the mega store there, or some of the other things with the Edmonton House that are happening. It can be a focal point as well because, you know, on a match day, you're there with the kid and in the fan zone. You're not just going to buy stuff. There's maybe some ex-players or some current players who aren't in the match day squad, pictures, all that type of stuff. It makes the whole thing a lot better, particularly for the younger fans. So, it's absolutely phenomenal news. I'm really happy about it.
I think what we need to remember as well is that from a club size and the enormity of Rangers, everyone knows we're a huge club. But when you're going back and forwards to Ibrox to see the game, and you're walking around the stands and you're seeing the mega store, ultimately the place you should be able to go and buy all your fancy training gear, your strips, first, second and third, your goalkeepers. It's just not happening. That building was a shell. In fact, I'm almost certain that it's not an area that I sort of go much when I'm at the games. Turnstile, I use it at the other end of the street, effectively. But you're very aware that people are not buying stuff for there. If we want to be a big club, it's a huge revenue stream for us, so we have to get it sorted. And it seems like now, at last, the cancer that was Mike Ashley is now gone. Thank goodness.
Yeah, 100%, Scott. And one thing I will say, you know that what hurts me is because I stay quite close to Ibrox. You know, when you're over and you take your kids and they see it and they want to go in, and you're saying you can't, and it hurts because, like, don't get me wrong, right? My kids got an 11-year-old and a 13-year-old. The 2-year-old doesn't know, obviously, but the other two do. And they were for years saying, why are you not buying tops for us anymore? And they don't understand. And seeing now, it's like, I can't wait. It kind of rejuvenates you, know? Just like, you can see me now, I'm smiling, I'm buzzing. I love it.
I think as recently, I think we all share that happiness, to be honest with you, Billy. I think as recently as the last game that was played, let's say, it was still selling the Megastore, that is, still selling the Puma jerseys with like Rob Kiernan and all that on the back. I mean, that's how bad it had gotten. I mean, it was essentially just a warehouse attached to the stadium, full of sports directs, cast off stock. long may this good news continue, and let's never hear or have to say the name Mike Ashley ever again.
Indeed.
It also opens up shops as well. I mean, we've got that shop in is it St Enoch Square or St Enoch Centre, but it also opens up the possibilities for us to open up a lot more shops as well. It just opens up so much more revenue for us, Tommy.
It does, you know, if you're in control of your, and obviously there's a lot of technical updates to come with the announcements that will follow in the coming weeks, you know, into May and stuff, back end of May, beginning of June, that firm up what the new kit deal looks like. And in terms of, does that mean that Rangers will also own the distribution rights? Will we partner with somebody else for the distribution because they'll have bricks and mortar, you know, shops, or do we, you know, take that on our own and then have more pop-up shops and actual stores in places like St Enoch Centre or St Enoch Square, I should say, whatever that looks like. It's just good to be in control of that conversation, and it certainly sounds from the information that's in the press, the noises coming out of the club, and the Q&A session that was done by Ross Wilson and the very impressive James Bisgrove, the commercial director, that shows that the heads are fairly screwed on. We seem to have had the best people we've had in those departments for a long time. Pay what you get for. So you get what you pay for, I should say. And we've got ourselves out of this deal. You know, Dave King started the fight. We've finally got those alleged phantom tanks off the lawn, and now we can make the right deals for a club of our size, name, and stature. So it all sounds extremely positive. I'm really looking forward to and excited about the good news that will come with regards to a kit deal and what those strips will look like.
Well, let's talk about that then, Billy. The rumours are it's going to be a company called Castor or Castore, or I mean, it's obviously quite middle class, so I'd have probably been better going to Tommy first. But I'll stick with you.
Brilliant. Tommy, you want to take this? You're going to
Did Tommy never tell you that his auntie's Judy Murray? Oh, I should have.
Oh,
Should have told you that.
Well done for serving that one up.
Oh, that's poor. That's so.
He's a hypey as well. That's tough.
That's poor.
That was an ace.
But this has took a wild turn. This podcast, hasn't it? But Billy, coming back to you then. Like I say, rumours are it'll be a company called Castoria, but does it really matter who makes the kits for you?
No, I mean, I could agree. You could. What's the worst brand in the world? Tommy, what would you never buy?
New Balance.
That's a true one. I wouldn't buy New Balance.
Well, to be fair, these days, for a probably obvious reason, I wouldn't wear anything made by Adidas.
Well, that's very true as well.
No, you know what? I'll say it because it links back to the earlier conversation. Anything made by Lonsdale or Donny,
Aye.
because they're owned by somebody that we don't want to be giving money to.
You don't want any lawsuits or anything here. So, as I was saying about, is it Castor? Is that right? Or however you pronounce it?
How do you pronounce it, Tommy?
Castori.
Castori. Fuck.
I should say that I have no idea if that's right or not. I was willing to give you an answer.
I'll run it because you're up there in the mansion. So
I think the C is silent, Billy. I think it's just a story.
Right, that will work for me. It doesn't matter what they're called. The matter is, I got it. The matter is, not just near it. We all get the Rangers up, and the club get the best deal. Don't really care what it is to a point, right? Let's be honest, because you're not going to walk about with a Donny top on, right? It's never going to happen. I'm just glad.
I got a Donny top.
So, mate, you just went down in my opinion, honestly. Like, should be telling me you actually shop sports direct. Anyways, so I mean,
you can get some cheap stuff in there, but you know.
Nah, mate, not for me. It's the brand. I might be wrong, right, but they're quite a middle class brand. Golfers that's quite a good market as well. So I'm expecting good quality tops at the same time. You know, I did enjoy the Hummel, right? I did enjoy the tops. I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, in the end up, it just didn't go right. It's business in it at the end of the day as well. But see, just moving forward, I just want to put it all behind us. Move forward, the club gets a great deal, and I can take my kids anywhere and buy Rangers stuff, and that's what matters to me. Just want to give them my money, you know. It's sell it, and I'll give you my money. It's It is.
And the thing as well is, Scott, and I don't know if you've seen them, but there's been quite a lot of mock jerseys done online, obviously with the Castore brand, and they look smart.
Some of them are absolutely cracking, aren't they? I saw a really nice one yesterday online on social media, and it was cracking. It was absolutely beautiful. And you just know that if the top comes out and it's in a similar vein to how that looked, people are just going to flood and buy it. It's simple as that. They're not going to sort of miss it. It'll be a case of just take my money, take it as much as you want, just take my cash. It's a really exciting time for the club as well, because the Castore, they've not. I think Tommy will probably know better when it comes back. I don't think they've broke into football just yet, so I think this is very much an exciting sort of thing for them as well. So if it's their first foray into football kit manufacture and they're using Rangers to do it, it's absolutely massive for us. It's a huge feather in the football club's cap that they've managed to get an agreement. And we've spoke previously, I'm glad Tommy mentioned it, we spoke previously about Bisgrove and the good work that he's been doing behind the scenes. He's been doing better than good work, and that much is evident now after what was said in the Q&A at the weekend. He deserves a huge deal of credit for the work that's went on beyond the scenes. He's clearly one to keep in that sort of group, that tight group of board that we have just now. I think personally we have an excellent group of guys in the hierarchy level at the football club now, as good as we've had, certainly as I can remember.
Well, if we just quickly have a wee chat about that Q&A, I will say one thing: Ross Wilson and James Bisgrove, they come across as extremely professional, just to put it mildly. And James Bisgrove looks like one of the kind of guys that you would trust with anything. He's got that aura about him.
Absolutely. I mean, these guys are, and it's not just good feeling. I know that. I completely agree with that aura of professionalism. It comes from knowing your business, and it's quite obvious that these guys know their business. I think the additional thing I'd probably put to that is there's an infectious enthusiasm and energy that they bring to the role. You could get it from the Q&A as well, and you get it from the sound bites round about the club, that they're everywhere. They really know their business. They're on top of everything. They're into the detail, and they want to drive the club forward. So everybody shares that top to bottom ambition for Rangers to get back to where they are. So yeah, it does. It speaks to what we said earlier. Scott picked up that thread as well. Get what you pay for, and football's a lucrative business, and I think we've been very, very lucky. And kudos to the board for getting the likes of Ross Wilson, James Bisgrove onto the team, into that core leadership group, and they're now showing why they're there, because they're delivering.
That as well, and Billy, I've heard Stephen Gerrard today as well in an interview on TalkSport, and he was talking about Ross Wilson, and basically the guy never sleeps.
I just think it's great though that now we've got a board and they're working so hard behind the scenes, and they're doing it just like us, because at the end of the day they are fans as well. So I think we're going to see returns from now on, and to be honest with you, it's just going to blossom at it. It's just going to get great, and I just can't wait. Obviously, circumstances with the football, we've got to be back when it's back, but we're just going to move and get stronger and stronger as it goes. And can you ask for anything else, can you, really, for your board?
I think as well, Martin, if I can just butt in you there, I think the one person who I think we've said it before, and I feel we say it almost regularly on the pod, the guys that has put these people in positions is effectively just going to disappear into the sunset. Dave King is your man who was responsible for making Bisgrove in the position he is. Ross Wilson was brought in as part of Dave King's vision for the club. And if we go back 5 minutes or so ago when we spoke about Mike Ashley's involvement, Dave King was really quick to say, once this was sorted, I'll be gone. My involvement will be done. It's really sad that we don't actually have anything going on a football side at the moment, that we can't get Dave King out into the centre circle at Ibrox for one final hurrah, because he absolutely deserves it. All this stuff that's went on in the last wee while, particularly in the last sort of week with Ashley going, the new kit sort of imminent announcements, Bisgrove Q&A with Ross Wilson, giving it all the good stuff that's going on around the football club. Dave King is right at the front of that. He's right at the top of that. As I say, we've said it before, but for all of those reasons, he'll go down as a huge, huge part in our football club's history.
I don't think it'll be any surprise if you see Dave King on the pitch when we win 55.
Here's hoping.
Just to take it back quickly to the strips, actually, and I'll come to you first, Tommy. We've always had a laugh and a joke about the colour of the third strip. You know, sometimes it's black, sometimes it's mandarin. I'll come to all three of you for this. What's your preferred colour of third strip? Just out of curiosity.
Wow. Do you know what? Actually, just a bit of nostalgia for me. It wasn't necessarily a third strip, but I've got a wee hankering to see something like that light purple European strip to make a comeback, which people might remember also came in a limited edition deep purple goalkeeper top that came with it, which was an absolute dynamite piece of kit. So I would like to see that. If not, black and orange always does it for me.
Listen, I'm not going to hide what I love, right? Let's be honest. Alright, it's got to be orange. I would just have an orange strip every 6 months. Do you know what I mean? And see, for the press it gets, it's brilliant because it tells them up on the other side of the city. And I hate it. You know what I mean? Just give me their tears every time. Aye. Orange. Bloody alone in it.
Billy's first and last appearance on This Is Ibrox podcast.
Colours to the mast, Billy, that's what we like. Colours to the mast.
Well, listen, yous I know, so.
Right, Scott.
I have to say, I like a black strip. I like the sort of thought of having a black third strip. For all the time that we wear it as well, to be fair, I sometimes think we bring out these three kits and we really don't need to. However, like it or not, it's a revenue stream and football fans are daft and they will go and buy the strips that they don't ultimately wear, and that's just the way of it. Like it or not, if you don't want to part with your cash, don't part with your cash. If you like the strip, go and buy it. Simple as that. Black one for me without any question.
I think for me that's why you go for the Mandarin one, because that's going to sell more. It's going to make us more money.
I think they should go retro and they should start taking, for the third strip, they should reach back in time and take a strip for different periods of the club's history. So bring back the red and white checkered one.
No.
The away strip, remember? Bring back that. Bring back a couple of other designs as well. There's a lot of crackers in there. Just don't bring back that dodgy, shapeless Blackthorn job.
The European, the third European bit, what was it called? The purple one you touched on. Remember we had the red version of that as well?
I do.
Ages again. Obviously, I loved that as well, but see, nostalgia growing up, it's that purple top in it, it's Loudrop and
Loudrop in full flow.
Isn't it?
Just running at defenders with that jersey on was absolutely dynamite. You know, I missed the eye here. Missed the eye just that or try to think. Maybe the old Admiral one. I'd be a cracker as well. But I suppose these jerseys are in their time as well, aren't they? So there we go.
Oh yeah, especially Admiral. And I'm going to do the segue of the century here, gentlemen. Talking about shirts, if you head over to @This Is Ibrox on Twitter, you can enter a competition to win a retro shirt, a retro Ranger shirt from 1988, and it's thanks to our friends at @FreeRetro_. All you have to do is go over, follow both @This Is Ibrox and @FreeRetro_, and retweet the post, and you'll be entered into the draw to win a free retro Ranger strip. So head over to @This Is Ibrox. Retweet what you need to retweet, and that's you in the draw. And
it's not good in the draw, mate.
No, it's Tommy.
I look forward to wearing the top on next week's podcast.
Live from the mansion.
And
I do not live in a mansion, gentlemen.
And I think it's only fair to the listeners that we say that's about the 4th time I've attempted that wee bit of advertisement. But I'll come to Scott very quickly and say, Scott, it's a cracking top.
It really is. It's a wonderful, wonderful strip. I actually think that may have been one of the first full strips I had, which kind of gives away my sort of aging years. Great strip, absolutely wonderful strip. Won at a successful time by many, many, many great players. So, get onto your Twitter and get that retweeted, and you've got a good chance as anyone else of winning that top.
Who does that? Obviously, me and Billy are the young ones, so I'll come back to Tommy. Who does that top remind you of? Who do you think of when you see that top?
David Cooper.
Yeah, David Cooper.
Although weirdly enough, Stuart Monroe as well, for some weird reason in my mind. But the initial thought is David Cooper. Can I just point out as well, although that was absolutely, pathy news, slick, Martin, it is not a segue if you tell people it is a segue.
Listen, I'm learning. I'm only a young guy, Tommy.
You've let people peek behind the curtain there. Listen, listeners, I'm looking at him, right, and it's young in the very broadest sense of the word. Right, talking dog ears for the bold Martin here, I'll tell you.
I might be wrong when I say this. See that top eight. As I said, me and Martin are the young ones, so that's obviously around about the time when Mo Johnson and that, wasn't it? If I'm mistaken.
Yes.
Is that right? Aye. So, 100%. Aye. That's unfortunately that's what I've got in my mind is Mo Johnson with the top, and you know what I mean?
Mo Johnson battering one into the bottom corner at Ibrox, and then running to the edge of the pitch. He ran to the edge of the pitch, didn't he go into the track? Edge of the pitch, arms out,
arms up,
gloves and all that coming on the pitch. Aye, that's how you.
That's what that top is. That's what it is for me. You know what I mean?
That's how you ingratiate yourself to the support who were a wee bit wary of you. You stick one in the back of the net.
Well, see the day he signed, my dad, right? He was working at Ibrox that day. My dad worked for Rangers, right? We're not going into details and stuff, but he was getting so much abuse. So he was, and I'm talking about off-road supporters. And there was people, they were throwing punches at him, they were spitting on him, you know. Obviously, it was meant for Mo Johnson, but he was taking a lot of abuse that day. Let's just say that. We soon turned our minds and been up in the park, didn't we, at the end of the day, and that's what matters.
Right, Billy, we're promoting a competition here, so you keep it happy.
That was...
Right,
listen. It's a competition. If you win it, you win it.
You win it, you might get spat on, but you'll win it. No, you know what I mean?
Here's a question, actually, right? Here's a question, right? To move away from Billy's uplifting story about death threats, would be, where do you think Mo Johnston comes in, right? In all-time best strikers to play for Rangers? Because I think he's right up there. I think Johnston was absolutely top drawer.
I think if Maurice Johnston hadn't played for Celtic, he would have been spoken about a hell of a lot more than what it was.
Second.
Aye. Okay, let me just tweak that in. Martin, sorry, I'm stealing your job here, right? But I'm forgiving you for the segue stuff. So, right, Scott, start with you, right? Top three strikers to play for Rangers.
That I've seen.
Just your personal opinion. It doesn't even have to be the most goal scorer, just who you enjoyed.
Who I enjoyed personally. Oh, fuck. So, one is McCoist, two is Moles, and I would say three, just because he was so different to anything I'd seen playing at Ibrox up front before, I would say Mark Hateley.
You just take a
Billy?
I'm going to be trying different, but you know, like McCoist is going to be up there for everybody, regardless. I mean, you ask a Rangers fan, McCoist, if you're not picking him, there's something wrong with it. The other two, I mean, growing up, it was so much racing in the 90s, but see what I loved about Scott's point about Michael Moles is I used to love watching him play, and I think his close control was great. His wee turn, I loved it. And another guy, I don't want to just go hate for the sake of it, so I'm going to, there's so many I like, right, but
just hurry up and say fucking Sunday.
I'm tapping the watch here, Billy.
I know, well, do you know what? This is going to... I like to watch Golden Jury. It's just...
Good shot.
He was a good striker, like.
Right, well, number one for me is Francisco Sandaza. And then Kevin Kyle. And then...
Nieto.
Oh.
Federico Nieto. Jeez, Argentinian for couch.
I'm not used to being asked questions. So
Aye.
not McCoist for me.
What's wrong with you?
I just remember him as the manager.
Oh, it's harsh.
Aye.
Which is why it will not be going into the podcast.
But I think what Martin's saying there is absolutely right. I think you will find there's a huge generation of the support now that will remember him as the manager that everyone wanted to do so well. In a very similar way, by the way, that we sort of all laud Steven Gerrard now. Everyone wants him to knock it out of the park. Everyone wants him to win trophies and just be generally successful. We wanted exactly the same with McCoist, and he fell flat on his arse because of other things that was going at the club. I think a lot of our support forget just how successful he was as a player. When you're talking about a boy that won the Golden Boot, it'll never happen in Scotland. Anyone, two Golden Boots, you're absolutely right. It'll never, ever happen again. There'll be no one for this country, Scotland, that'll win a Golden Boot. Never.
Right, also, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was it the second Golden Boot that he won that he was injured for about 7 or 8 weeks?
Aye.
It was. I was just going to point out as well, sorry to interrupt there, Martin, that for anybody who was, being churlish, he still had to win that Golden Boot and say that, being churlish by saying Scotland was an easier league. The way that the European weighting system went in those days, it meant that goals in the top leagues meant more statistically for the rating system than goals in Scotland. So he had to bang in even more to get to the same ratio and then beat other players in other leagues. That's how dynamite he was. Absolutely amazing striker. Anyway, Martin, you've still not answered the question.
Yeah, I jest. McCoist is the first one on I think on everybody's list. For me, growing up, it's just along the kind of same lines as your Michael Moles. I liked Caniggia as well. I must admit, I thought Caniggia was a cracking player, although he wasn't an out-and-out striker. But for me, Rod Wallace has to be up there as well. I thought for what we got Rod Wallace for free, didn't we? I mean, that's got to be one of the greatest free transfers we've ever got. What a cracking striker Rod Wallace was.
Aye.
And I think you've also got to say for the one season, Marco Negri.
Yeah.
For half a season,
for that, for the amount of goals he scored. But anyways, moving on, Tommy. Right, if I can come back in here and do the hosting duties, if that's all right with you. Getting me into trouble and making me answering questions, making an ass of myself.
This is a part-time gig there. I'm happy to hand it back over.
See, the first question I answer and I say I don't like McCoist, that's me, I'm out. Hey, I thought we'd move on to something actually that I've seen, and again, with my research, I can't remember where I've seen it. But a little bit on stadium expansion. Scott, I think that this would have been a great idea before this coronavirus hit, right? Do we need to increase the capacity of Ibrox? Not can we afford it? Do we need to do it?
I don't think we do just now. I just don't think we do. No one really knows. I think it's kind of something that's been trotted out a lot in the last 6 weeks or so. No one really knows or understands what football is going to look like when it eventually kicks off. And by that we mean the stuff that's going on in the pitch. We've no idea how close we're going to get to a game, i.e. to sit your bum down in your seat that you're starting to pay for at the end of May. No one knows. So I think to think about it is perhaps something a bit more plausible than say that it's something we absolutely need. I think there's an argument for them perhaps doing something with the two areas at Ibrox would have got the screens. They could maybe do something there as far as a wee bit of expansion is concerned. It's difficult to say just now because football, as we love it, is just too much up in the air for my liking just now.
Well, right, Tommy, take away the coronavirus and all the financial implications that's going to bring in. Just say it's a normal season, everything's going the way it normally does. Do we need to upgrade Ibrox, or would you be happy with keeping it with the 50,000?
Well, you swap out those financial implications you speak about in terms of the coronavirus. You just swap them for a different set of financial implications and concerns and risks and mitigations. So the question really for me is fundamentally, what's the cost outlay to the club? How quickly is that recouped, and do we move into it paying for itself profit, and then everything comes back to we've got great support, right? Absolutely phenomenal support. There's no two questions about that, right? But with every support, there comes a tolerance level as well, in that you can upgrade the stadium and then you don't win a trophy for a while. And then you've shelled out all this money and you don't necessarily recoup it all the time. I would, and I'm thinking a particular team in Scotland who can't even fill their stadium when they win trophies, that you can sometimes make a big outlay on a showy, new stand or whatever, or the lighting of that stand.
Disco lights.
Aye, exactly. It's look, shine a light on an empty seat, and
sorry, you make that banner. They don't fit.
Yeah, exactly. And then it looks terrible. It takes away from the atmosphere. Ibrox is a cracked stadium, and when it's rocking, I don't think I've been in anything that comes close to it. There's ways to fill in the sections or do something with some of the levelling, subject to the water table. But the question you ask is, we've got a really healthy season ticket waiting list. We've got people clamouring, people champing at the bit. Some of that's still affected by the Steven Gerrard effect, the halo effect, so to speak, and the club's moving in the right direction. Ultimately, though, we still need to win a trophy really quick, right? And so I would probably hang fire on any expansion plans until that's in place, and then you know exactly what's happening. It's an outlay that's probably not required right now, or really not the best use of the funds.
I think most people would probably agree with that, Billy, wouldn't they? At this time, the club simply can't afford it.
It's not even about can we afford it or not, to be honest with me. See, right now, if we're going to be outlaying a big amount of money like that, big lump sum, listen, I would rather go into the playing squad. You know what I mean? For me, we need to start winning trophies first and foremost before we even think about upgrading the stadium. Everybody would love it, and you can all say this, and great to look at. Listen, see, at the end of the day, we need to start winning. And what Scott and Tommy says, you can't argue it. Personally, that's just my opinion, So
you just finished your comment on right. So we shall move on.
I agree with him.
I'm only joking. Right, lads, we shall finish up tonight's pod on season tickets. I'm going to come on to the manager stuff in a wee second, but we're just talking then about stadium expansion. And I'll come to you first, Billy. Do you expect us, I think everybody firmly does, but do you expect us to sell out again when it comes to season tickets? Because we've got to take into consideration there'll be a lot of people seriously affected, a lot of people out of work, a lot of people furloughed, families struggling. But do you still expect us to sell out for season tickets?
Yes. I do. I've already renewed my season ticket, but I know for the fact, I was speaking to one of my mates today, he can't renew his season ticket yet because he's been laid off his work. So it's going to be hard and it's tough, and I think the club have to try and make allowances as well, because we've shown them loyalty by backing them time and time again, and these people have had season tickets for year after year after year. I'm just hoping they can get to keep their seat, or they can afford it, because during this current time they shouldn't be losing it because of Corona, because otherwise they're working. But at the same time, it's a business at the end of the day as well, isn't it? So it's a tough one, because where do you draw the line? I don't know, it's hard. I just hope the club helps their fans the way we've helped them. And regarding your question, let's be honest, we're going to the season ticket waiting list, what is it, 10 or 15,000? So they won't go dead easily,
And also, Scott, like Billy was saying there, the club have extended the deadline, I think, for paying for your season ticket as well, and the frozen season ticket prices as well, which will help the fans.
Aye, absolutely. It's a really decent thing for them to do. Class but expected, I think, is probably fair to say. Listen, I'll renew. Football fans are fickle. We spoke about it earlier on. The boxes are ticked and the sheet's ready to go, type thing. People renew because they just want to see Rangers again. That's just the fact of the matter. We've went and saw the bakers and the butchers and the candlestick makers. We've had a taste of really good European nights again at Ibrox, and we've got the beating of everyone in the country, people will renew. Simple as that.
I mean, I suppose, Tommy, you don't really need to worry about renewing your season ticket with all your millions in the bank and stuff like that.
I sense this is a growing thread across the pods. It needs to be stamped on fairly swiftly. Okay, I'm sitting here in an underground bunker at an undisclosed location, right? Hosted by the DWP. So, but yeah, I think the gentlemen before me have pretty much hit the nail on the head to the largest extent, which is people will be desperate to renew. The club has been as flexible as I think a business can be, and let's be under no illusion. Rangers, like every other club in the country, need money coming in the door. That doesn't mean admin 1888 or we're about to, go back down to the lower leagues or whatever spurious conspiracy somebody with a spreadsheet has come up with on Twitter recently. It just means that's the logical way business works. The club have done everything. Fans will do what they can. I think some people will ultimately be put in a position whereby, because of circumstances outside their control, i.e. COVID-19 and furloughs, they won't be able to renew. Which is really sad, but family first, and there will be people to take their place. So yeah, it's terrible circumstances, and I feel my heart goes out to anybody who's lost their job or been furloughed or had a massive hit on their income out with of football, because it's terrible. But ultimately the club needs to bring money in the door, and they've done everything they can, and for want of a more infamous phrase, the caravan will roll on.
Right, so moving on for the season tickets then, let's just cover this MyJers membership thing quickly. Thomas, we've had over 6,000 people signed up in just under or just over 4 days.
Incredible numbers, unsurprising with the Rangers support. I mean, we habitually go in big numbers. As soon as the club comes out with anything, right, we jump in. We might bump our gums about it, but ultimately the club knows they're going to get money out of us. MyJers seems to be aimed at the right thing. I think possibly some of the price points maybe a wee bit high, in my opinion, for people with families and stuff like that as well. It'd just be interesting to see exactly what that means towards the end of the season, and your MyJails kind of membership on an ongoing basis, what exactly you get from it and stuff like that, some of the points-based systems. But ultimately it's a good thing for the club, because they are trying to bring fans closer. Long have we said, and all fans have said we want more interaction with the club. They've listened, they've come up with this plan. Cost is always going to be an issue for most families. I get that, on top of season tickets and merchandising, touch that. But yeah, I mean, I'm unsurprised by the numbers, and it'll just grow between now and the actual season kicking off. Everybody that can will probably end up with a MyJails account, and that's no bad thing. It's more money in the club's coffers.
And Billy, you're a season ticket holder. What's your thoughts on it?
See, to be honest, I don't have an issue with it, because the way I look at it is, most top teams in Europe have got this sort of scheme, and they're not having a gun to your head, are they? So if you want to do it, do it. And if you see if you can afford it, great. If you can't, don't worry about it. It doesn't make you any better off, or I'm a better Rangers fan because I've got. It doesn't work like that. It's, see if you can afford it. Listen, it's just a cash grab. I get that, but like I said, see when it comes to Rangers, take my money.
And Scott, I've heard that there's been kind of arguments, some arguments on Twitter about it, saying it's unfair for certain sections of fans with regards to like away tickets and stuff. Thomas kind of mentioned that they're the points-based system. Like for example, you get more points if you buy a game on RTV, a European game, than actually travelling to the European game, because by buying it on RTV, you put more money into Rangers. And I suppose we look at all this as just simply fans, but if you look at it from a business point of view, is there any way to make it fair completely across the board?
I don't think there is a way that you're going to get anything that's going to suit everyone. The fact of the matter is, the supporters have been crying out for a good wee while now for some sort of membership scheme, and now we've got it. And I think the guys are absolutely right. If you're flush enough and are happy to do it, then by all means do it. Your money's going to the right place. If you don't want to do it, I don't think there's going to be a huge sort of outpouring of rage in your direction. It's very much a personal choice. If you want to go for it, by all means batter in. That's what it's there for. I think the overriding picture is that your cash is going straight into the coffers of the football club. and that's as important now as it's ever been. Taking into account the climate and the lost revenue over the last sort of 6 weeks, probably longer than that now, to be perfectly frank. Your money's going to the right place. If you can subscribe to it, then do it. If you don't, then so be it. It's personal choice. Very much each to their own.
How many points do you get on the system for being part of a fans podcast?
-7.
Yeah,
Bonus for
fair.
Martin, because he's a host. He always has brownie points.
But I'll come to Thomas for this, right? Because there's only one millionaire on the panel, so I'll come.
Welcome, Billy. It's your first week, and we didn't realise we had that much in the back pocket.
See, every time I finish my degree, we'll have 2 millionaires, right? So don't you worry about that.
I'm clinking a glass of champagne in your direction there, Billy.
I'm not quite there yet, mate, so we'll just have to leave it.
There's a lot of fans, Thomas, that will go, well, this scheme brought out, fair enough, Rangers want to make money, but it's taking advantage of the fans that don't have any money, and it's saying to the fans that maybe have that wee bit of spare cash, well, if you pay for this membership, you're guaranteed an away ticket. And there'll be a lot of fans who don't have that extra 50 quid a year or whatever it costs to buy this scheme, so they're going to lose out. Is it just a case of tough titty?
I'd probably put it in slightly softer terms, but if you look at it in a wider, conceptual basis, we live in a capitalist society, unfortunately, well, to a large degree, unfortunately, which means that those who have the ability to pay can sometimes access, larger benefits and more items. My Jers is aimed at people who have another level of disposable income on top of their normal season ticket and merchandising, and it's tied together. Ultimately, are people going to put themselves out to buy it? I think some people will. Should people think that they're forced to buy it? No, it's very much an elective choice. So don't feel any pressure if you don't have the money. Don't get any debt to get a My Jails account, so to speak, because it's an extra on top of your season ticket. And ultimately as well, I suppose the thinking, I can't speak for the club, but some of the thinking would be if you've got the spare, disposable income, I won't say spare, but if you've got disposable income to buy away tickets and stuff like that, because you want access to them, then you probably have the disposable income to purchase the My Jails account, which gives you access, better access to those away tickets anyway. So I think the rationale there is, unfortunately, we live in a capitalist society, which means that people with more money sometimes get ahead of the queue. My Jails, whilst I think it's very laudable because it's aimed at fans getting a bigger say in the club, and it's aimed at that fans kind of membership thing, you're going to get those scenarios we just spoke about. It's unfortunate, but it's unfortunately part of the fabric of life.
Speaking from experience, right?
I'm always at the back of the queue.
Right, gents, we shall leave it there this week, but just before I go, can I just remind everybody that we have that giveaway on Twitter. If you just head over to @This Is Ibrox, and you'll see the giveaway we've got going for strips. But listen, if I could just thank Scott Patterson, Tommy, what was it, McIntyre? Aye, McIntyre, and Billy McCall for joining us this week. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Cheers, Martin. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Cheers, guys.
Yeah.
A big thank you from me, and we'll speak to you next week.
If bluebells sang like church bells rang, fight fire with fire, we are not letting go. When so